Rock the life, don't let the world take your flame away. Rebel yell rock on the radio.
Welcome to Rock the Life, a podcast for fans by fans. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Katya. I'm so excited for today. Do you know why?
Well, I do know why. Because we have Kevin Young of Disciple, who is one of your top two
Top two. Yep.
favorite singers in a band. So, Amy, what do we have going?
Oh my gosh, you guys, like and subscribe. Follow along. You're not going to want to miss this episode. It is a part 1 of 2. We had such a great conversation that we carried on for an hour and 40 minutes. So we didn't plan on making it 2 parts, but it was so great. We just let it roll. This is part 1 of 2. So make sure you follow along and join us for next week. Next week's conversation, we have some really funny bits. So I'm super excited about that. Make sure that if you'd like to support the podcast, you go to rtlmerch.com. Check out what we've got in the store. That's always very helpful. Yes. And, oh yeah, your mug. Look, we're twinning. I have mine too.
Ah, love the mug.
Cheers. Alrighty, you guys. Come along. Enjoy the ride. Here's Kevin.
Here's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to Rock the Life. How are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you guys?
I was catching mid-sit. We're doing great.
Right.
And I want to start off with a huge thank you because Amy and I have been friends for 35 plus years. And one of the bands that she talks about in the last few decades is you and your music. And just her excitement over talking about Disciple gets me excited and I love it. So really, really thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Well, we both have Disciple stuff hanging on our walls, so
Yeah, we do. It's kind of like both my favorite bands start with a D. So we've got Def Leppard and Disciple in a combination behind me.
I don't have any Def Leppard hanging up. I need some. So if you have any that you haven't hung up that you were thinking about hanging up, just give it to me and I'll hang it up in here somewhere. Yeah.
You need this really cool book. Where's the book?
I have my book right
there.
Right here.
It's right there. Yeah,
Wow.
and Katya has it too.
Definitely Def Leppard.
What does the book say?
No, definitively. No.
Oh, it's a Def Leppard book?
Yeah. It just makes a nice display piece. But actually, it's really, if you're like a fan, it just goes through all the things.
I love that.
A lot of which we already knew, but that's fine.
Are there pictures in it? Because here's the deal. I haven't read a book in 20 years. I've listened to maybe like a few hundred.
Right.
But yeah, like the time to sit down. Yeah, I'm always in a car, always on a plane or whatever. And if I start reading, like the moment I start reading with, I fall asleep at the moment.
The body relaxes and it's like, oh.
I'm obsessed with audiobooks now. Podcasts and audiobooks.
They have
my favorite.
Audiobooks changed my life.
Plenty of pictures to keep you entertained.
There you go. Then maybe I will. Okay. Otherwise, I was going to say I'll just listen to the audiobook. But.
Right.
Okay, so Kevin, now since we're talking bands, take me back. How did you first get into music?
Take me back. How did I get into music? My father was a choir director. So music was a thing as long as I can remember. Blood. Yeah. So we went to I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s. And so as a small child, 4 or 5 years old, I would go to church in the South, and it was a church with a band and a choir, which was revolutionary, really. I mean, you think about it in like 1979 or 1980, like there's a band playing on stage, that's kind of, I know that there was a lot of that in like California in the early 70s and Love Song and Calvary Chapel and places like that. But, we were crushing the drums and a
Nice.
massively loud bass guitar and a just killer piano player. Oh my gosh, she was out of this world, just killer good. And but it was, you know, Southern gospel hymns, and but they were kind of like modern hymns. You know, they weren't
Okay.
they weren't old, but they were modern. And you know, I just remember like every beat was like, you know, I mean, tons of fills and tons of crashes, and all the songs was upbeat and peppy. And I remember my favorite song was page 29. It was a song called "Let Us Sing," and it was just like this, you know, this beat. It was just like "Let us,"
Awesome.
you know, just massive, you know, you know, whatever. And that was my childhood. Like it's just
That
in
was
my
it.
blood. Yeah, in my blood. My dad. I don't know if it was him or my mom, but I think there was this kids album that the Gaithers put out. I don't remember what it was called, but some kind of kids album. It had songs like "I'm a Promise" and "He's Still Working on Me," and they were like, you know, you want to sing it in church? And of course, I'm this little kid. I mean, it's like, sure, whatever. I don't really think anything about it. I mean, they had me on the stage singing Bill Gaither songs at 5 years old. So I mean, I was doing it and didn't even realize, you know, that was a big deal. You know what I mean?
Just born. So how did you transition from singing in church to turning it into a rock band?
Well, like I said, this is the South, so Christian rock was evil, and I don't even think it was like something I even knew about until I was 11 or 12. I don't really know what age I actually was when this transaction happened, but we got a new youth pastor. And as it goes with new youth pastors, they're always crazy, you know, always doing things that the parents don't want them doing. You know, those youth pastors, right? Just got to watch them, man. And he gave me a White Cross album, White Cross's first album. And so that came out in 87, but I don't know how long the album had been out. That's why I'm like, I'm not sure if I was, you know, 11 or 12 or whatever. But it was incredible. It was heavy metal. So like, and you know, and people got to understand the word heavy metal, what that means today and what that meant in 1987 or 1988, completely different. You know, whatever existed in 1988 as heavy metal was, you know, bands like Iron Maiden or Rat, you know, or, you know, Motley Crue was like teetering. You know, but Def Leppard was considered heavy metal in 83 and probably not really necessarily considered heavy metal in, you know, 86, 87, 88.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but White Cross was this band that was just really, really hard and, but bold lyrically for Christ. And so this youth pastor's like, hey man, I think you'd like this. You know, come here and check this out. Listen to this. I remember hopping in his truck. He's like, what do you think about this? And I was like, did he say Jesus? You know, like
all these riffs were going.
He's like, yeah. He's like, this is Christian rock. And I'm like, what in the world am I experiencing right now? Because at this point, you know, while Christian rock was evil, which is so weird, you know, that the Christian rock is evil. But of course, my parents are letting me listen to maybe Bon Jovi or Night Ranger or whatever, you know, something on the radio. Heart. I remember Heart was and Starship. These were all bands. They were like they were little safe radio bands.
Exactly.
Night Ranger, Heart, Starship, Bon Jovi a little bit, you know, sort of safe, but not Christian either, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, I heard that and I was just like, this is the most amazing, coolest thing I've ever heard. And, you know, it was a little struggle there for a minute, you know, with my parents, like trying to explain to them this newfound love and passion that I had. And man, who knows? Maybe that struggle cemented my love for it. You know how it goes.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So
you have a rebel heart. Like, okay, so
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I identify.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I do.
Keep going.
I do. I was always a good bad kid, if that makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
We were too.
Yeah. Never in big trouble, but constantly in trouble. Yeah, made sure of it.
Oh,
I
I
don't
didn't know
know
how
if
to-
we actually
This is my
got in
safe
trouble
place.
because we just didn't get caught.
Oh, nice
I
work.
think that did it. I was going to say, I don't think we ever really got in trouble.
Really?
Huh.
Oh
No.
man,
We just,
I
but
used to
we didn't
sneak
get
out of the
caught.
house all the time, and I remember my window was just enough above the ground where I kind of like didn't want any problems getting back in the window, so I stuck a ladder out there, and I forgot to put it away the next day. So there's just a ladder at my window, and my dad was like he was like hey, you forgot to put that ladder up, That's all he said. That's all he said.
You're like,
He
oh,
just
well,
he knew what he was dealing with. So
okay.
That's
Can I
do
ask?
you know? Wait,
I was going
hold
to
on.
ask where he was sneaking off to.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's
oh
fair.
yeah, causing trouble, being a boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what
maybe
we did,
not
Kevin?
destroying property, but not taking care of property either. So,
Right.
Mm.
You know what we did at
Interesting.
16? We
What?
snuck away. I told my mom I was staying at Katya's house, and we went to Hollywood for the weekend. We lived in California.
How
in the
far away
desert.
was Hollywood for you?
6 hours.
Wow, y'all, that's bold. I never did anything like that.
It was crazy. Like I saved like 3 paychecks. It was a full-on plan. I worked at
Wow.
Little Caesars Pizza, and I
Oh, well, you
saved
guys
3
were like
paychecks.
older teenagers at this point, right?
16.
16.
16.
Okay.
16,
Mhm.
17.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could drive.
Yeah,
It was
I don't know
wild.
how old you guys are, and I don't want to ask because that's totally anathema to do that. But I will say, no, don't tell me. I don't really want to know.
We're your
seriously.
age.
We're the same
Okay,
age.
there you go. All right, cool.
We're a little.
So yeah, did your parents, like without cell phones, did your parents just let you just like leave and it's like, I'll be
Oh, yeah.
back,
If they had
at
to,
dinner, and
yeah.
you don't know
My
where they
knew
are
where
and
I
you're just
was.
gone?
My mom
Man,
knew
can
where I
you
was.
imagine? Can you even
No.
just fathom right now
No.
doing that
No.
with your children?
Nope.
Just,
No.
I'll see you
No.
at dinner time.
No.
Nope.
No.
Is that
'Cause
not
I have
crazy?
the Life
How did we make
360
it?
or Find My phone. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know. How did we make? I
That's why
remember
we're so
riding my
scrappy.
bike before I had my driver's license, and I would
Uh-huh.
ride 11, 12 miles away from
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
all constantly, just because
Mhm.
there'd be someone that lived that far away, and I'd be like, I'm gonna go hang out with them today or whatever.
Yep.
They had no idea where I was. I didn't
Yeah.
tell them where I was going.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Same.
No. Yeah.
Same.
good
It's
old
crazy,
times.
but it's a totally
Good
different
old
world.
times.
Yeah.
Totally different world. Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So then, Kevin, which bands did you actually go to see that influenced you musically when you were young? Because you're
Yeah.
listening to it, but how about concerts?
Yeah, I've got this White Cross 8x10 around here somewhere. I can't.
Oh,
I did
how
have it hanging
cool.
up. I did have it hanging up. I don't know what. And then it fell, and I haven't put it back up yet. Anyway, I went to see White Cross in 1990. So I was 13, about to turn 14, and
That's yeah.
that was that wasn't the first Christian rock show I'd been to. I'd seen Striper, the In God We Trust tour, as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old as well. And anyway, I met those guys before the show and after the show, and they signed something for me. And I remember the lead singer of White Cross signed trust Jesus, and wrote Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 on there. And I didn't really know what it said at the time, but it immediately was my favorite verse, no matter what it said. And it was
Right.
just kind of preordained that, it really has been my life verse, So
Wow.
that was one of the first times.
When did you start singing? Well, 5. We answered
Yeah,
that.
when-
Take
like-
that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that.
No, but like for like really as a band, because we're high school,
There you go.
Or even
Middle
before.
school. Yeah.
middle school.
Yeah, so there was these guys. I was surrounded by the school I went to, just surrounded by talented people.
Wow.
Just a lot of talented people there. And I was kind of, and still am, I'm like, I'm a piano player, but I'm not very good. And I play by ear, and just really wired that way, like reading notes, on a piece of paper, and taking piano lessons. I mean, I'd always just be like, okay, see this. I mean, just like years and years of piano lessons, and I still just okay, whatever. And I finally got, you know, I wouldn't even say decent, somewhere below decent at it, but didn't stop taking lessons. But as far as like playing and writing, I was always doing that. But to answer your question,
Okay.
I mean, as early as 13 years old, I was writing on the piano, writing songs. So yeah, trying to read music, it just I couldn't do it. But
So
I
we would
started.
have died if we were in the Goonies and you were in charge of the bone piano.
Yes, yeah,
I could
yeah.
even use
No
to leave
hope,
it.
no hope. Any other kind of apocalyptic scenario that you can throw out there, and
Evan has us
I'm
covered.
your hope, you're dead. If I am your hope that for survival, you're not making it. You're
Right,
not making
okay.
it. It's like okay, there's no more electricity ever again. It's like, all right, how many Pop Tarts do we have left? Because that's how long we're
No,
gonna live.
Yeah. I
That's
love
it.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going. Sorry, I had to throw that.
Anyway, yeah. So I was surrounded by talented people, and there was these guys that were starting a band. It's sixth, seventh, eighth grade,
Mhm.
you know, and we started just getting together and jamming. I mean, I feel like it was sixth grade, you know, for me, which would have been again 88, you know, 89. Around this time, it was like everybody's really listening to you know, Striper, even the kids that aren't Christians, you know, Striper was a really
Oh
big
yeah.
band, and
Yeah.
everybody liked them, and it was just a cool thing, and it was kind of cool to write songs that were positive. And I remember the guys that, you know, that were in this band, you know, they were Christians, you know, like, you know, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, they were, you know, whatever. But they weren't necessarily serious about playing Christian rock, if that makes sense. They were musicians, extremely talented. They excited to play music about anything. The song could have been about anything. It doesn't matter. And I remember we had this drummer, and he made a comment. He was like, well, you know, drums are just my hobby. And I don't remember what brought up that comment. Like if we were saying, hey man, you know, you've missed a couple practices or something. Who knows? I don't know. But as soon as he said that drums are just my hobby, I was like, guys, we need to get this other guy. I go to church with him. His name is Tim. We need to bring him out and get him playing with us. And that was Tim Barrett, the original Disciple drummer. Long story short, me, Tim, and these two other gentlemen, you know, played off and on in middle school all the way up until the beginning of my freshman year of high school. We did a talent show together. I thought it went well, but we kind of got made fun of, or I specifically got made fun of for the song that some keyboard player that we worked with wrote, and I just sang it. And I think the humiliation kind of broke up our little group, you know, because they were kind of like, you know, how high school is pretty brutal,
Oh yeah.
right? You know, people making fun of you and
Everything.
whatever. I got mocked pretty hard in the hallway by the quarterback of the football team, just kind of like singing back to me, making fun of me. And I think that I kind of became an uncool person there for a little season because I was an easy target, easy to make fun of. And so those other guys, they kind of just started doing music without me. And a couple of years later, Tim, you know, me and him still played music together, just me and him. Without these other two guys, they kind of just moved on. And all I knew was piano, and he knew drums. And so I'd write songs, and he played drums. And I remember, man, in December of 1992, it might have been November, he said, man, we need to get Disciple back together. Now, it was called Disciple in middle
It
school.
was still
first of
called
all.
Disciple back then.
We played
Oh
one
my
show. It was September 22nd of 1990. I have a poster right over there. And we played one show as that little group. That was it. And a talent show as well. And then in November, so we broke up, and right after that, whatever. And in 92, he says, we need to get Disciple back together. So we prayed. We was like, God, send us a guitar player. And 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from someone and said, hey, I think you should meet this guy named Brad. He lives across town. His name is Brad Noah. And we ended up meeting Brad, having a practice together, December of 1992. And that's when the real Disciple as we know it. And that the three of us, you know, we did the first 10, 11, 12 years of Disciple together, just the three of us.
Wow.
Oh shoot, I don't have my album. There. I don't have I have a whole bunch of Disciple vinyl. I
Yeah,
wonder
there you
how.
go. Thank you.
I need to put them up here.
There you go.
And
So
I,
otherwise, I'd whip it
It's
out.
kind of a long story, but it was the short. Where obviously every story can be,
no, but that,
way more in detail. But that's the shortest version. Yeah.
I was going to show a picture. Yeah.
and
Oh
did
my
you get,
gosh.
I mean, being in high school, I know it's hard with taking criticism, but again, he was just one
Sure.
person, your quarterback. How did you get over the humiliation, or were you
Oh
had enough
yeah.
self-esteem in yourself that you were just like, I know I'm good
I
enough.
I don't think I don't think I've still gotten over it honestly. Yeah, it still hurts. I mean, like talking
Yeah.
about it or thinking about it. Yeah, and I think that that's kind of one of the beautiful things that I've learned about walking with Jesus is forgiveness doesn't mean getting over it,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
um, and even though I do forgive this person, you know, yeah, he's
That's
a child.
positive.
And I think about my kids right now that are this age, things that somebody says to them or what they might say to somebody else. He's a child, but yeah, that was really, really hurtful, and but I needed it. It did something, it did something in me that also made me work harder, try, it put a drive in me and honestly gave me an identity. It was like, I'm not the best. I'm not the best. I never have been the best and I don't need to be the best. I just need to be me. And, it really probably, probably helped me. I mean, honestly, it may have been just God making him make fun of me just to make me who I am, because like, you're not going to see me on American Idol or The Voice, and you're not even going to see me taking lessons to try. I just I know what I can do, and I try to do it the best that I can. And so it's kind of just like it's like the little boy with the fish and the loaves of bread. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
thinks that that's a lot. No one. But when he gave it to Jesus, Jesus does a miracle with it, and that's literally my testimony. Is my talent is very little, but I've been surrounded by people who are infinitely more talented than me my whole life. And I've given Jesus what little talent I have, and he's done miracles with it.
I
Okay.
think you have a
So
lot of talent.
I do too, but
Thank you.
I have to say, I have to say this. This is why when we did a disciple episode with my disciple story, Kevin. And one of the things that I said is that you guys, like I've never, especially, and I'll say it especially right now because I think it's important right now with everything in Christian music. You guys, I have never met any more real people
Hmm.
ever. Like walking the walk, talking the talk, and loving people ever. Kevin, I really feel like I am not going to articulate this very well because it's so emotional to me. Um, but every one of your shows has been incredibly impactful. You guys stay and you wait and you talk to people and you never turn anyone away. And even when someone is, I don't know, rude,
Hmm.
you guys, you're the genius between you and this band of brothers that you have around you, which is the bond that you guys have right now is incredible. You guys just turn it
Yeah.
around into something. I mean, I've seen it's like lighthearted, and you haven't turned it around as a joke to mock the person that said
Yeah.
something hurtful, but you
Yeah.
turned it around so that it was like, while it may have hit your heart, you let it kind of slide off so that that person, uh, I can't explain. I'm going all
No,
wrong
I know what
here.
you mean. I don't want to make that person feel bad because
Yeah,
yeah, I know
yeah.
because well, here's the thing you got to understand is that some people aren't good at in social settings, and
Hmm.
so they might be insulting, but you don't know them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't
You don't
know
know the
them.
intention behind what they're trying to
Yeah,
say.
you don't know them very well, and one trait I've seen from people who are really young and maybe insecure is they may start like, insulting people around them because they're nervous, and it's okay, and I have grace for everybody in that situation, because
That's the thing.
the fact that we made them nervous is weird to me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, sometimes people are mean. And there was someone who was mean to me the other day, and I did my best to be nice to him. I don't know how he felt about it. I did my best, but there's people that have really strongly held beliefs about things, and that's okay. And it is what it is. And I mean, I don't even care to tell you the story. And I'm sure there'll be people that watching this podcast that have this strongly held beliefs like this. But, 2020, we were trying to navigate all that meant. And people were taking a stand, and some people were taking a vaccine, and some people weren't. Some people were wearing masks, and some people weren't. For me, I wasn't working and doing the thing that I wanted to do. For me, I heard the words, all I have to do is take a vaccine, and then I can go back to work, and we can do shows again, because I was sitting at home and not doing the thing that I felt like I was called to do. I was like, put it in a shampoo bottle and I will wash my hair with it if it gets me back on stage so I can, do work. I wasn't actually thinking about it any further than that. And of course, everybody that knowing what we know now, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback and get all whatever. But a lot of the shows that we were playing, they, required people that were coming in to wear masks and stuff. So we even made little disciple masks that we sold at the
I had
sales
one.
table. Yeah. Yeah. And man, honestly, I didn't put that much thought into it. All the guys in the band, we all are split politically, and we don't let that influence our friendship or bother us, or we don't really talk about that from the stage. We're about Jesus, period. And I say split politically, that means so that I'm painting a picture that there's liberals and conservatives, and that ain't it either. You'd be wrong. So for me to even try to paint a picture, it's not even worth talking about it, because that's not something that we want to talk about. But we do talk about it with each other, but just not publicly. So anyway, this guy came up and he was like, you said something about wearing masks, and I just want you to know, I threw away your CDs and just swore I was never going to listen to you again. He's right. He's standing right in front of me. I'm sitting down. He's standing right in front of me, and he's, confronting me about something that he has this strongly held belief about, and I've obviously let him down in this area. And I said, I don't think I did that. I don't think I ever told anybody to wear a mask. And he's like, oh, I saw the video. I know you. And I was like, that pretty much goes against everything that I would believe. And I started thinking about it. He goes, well, I'll show you the video if you want to. I was like, no. And I started thinking about it. I was like, well, maybe if people were needing to wear masks to get into the show, if something like that, some places, I said, I know we played a show where no one was wearing a mask, and they were playing shows where promoters made people wear masks. We obviously didn't wear them. We didn't
Right.
we weren't wearing them. So I was like, we weren't wearing them, so I wouldn't tell somebody else to wear them, because I sure as heck wasn't wearing it at all. And anyway, so I was like, I don't think I did that. He was like, well, you did. But he goes, I just want you to know I forgive you. And I was like,
okay.
Thank you. I was like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need
And
to
then
see
as he
it,
walked
that's
away,
the-
as he walked away, of course, I was thinking to myself, yeah, we did have some people get saved and become born again that night as well. They might have been wearing a mask or not. I guess, that's what you want to say things like that, but it's not worth it, because You know, you don't want
Yeah,
want that. The people never forget those encounters. Whenever you meet somebody that you have a lot of respect for, or someone that you think is important, or someone that you're a fan of, or whatever, you remember every word. You remember the
everything.
tone of voice. You remember everything. So I am aware of that. If I just maybe am that person, you know, I want to be super nice and super whatever, even if someone's being mean to me. My favorite thing where people think they're being mean to me, but I actually am empathetic toward it, is if they hate our music or think that we are not okay, like we're not morally okay to be playing Christian rock. They'll come up and whatever, and I'm like, I love you, I think you're awesome, you know, whatever. And they're like, huh? You know, I'm like, my mom was the same way, and she's great, you know, like she was just trying to be a good mom, so she didn't know if it was good or bad, and so she was not happy about me listening to Christian music. I get it. You're being a good parent. You don't know if it's good or bad. That's awesome. I'm glad you're a good parent. I'd rather you be a good parent than a bad one. And they're like, huh? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
and here, I love that for you, because all you literally have to do is say, read the lyrics.
Yeah,
Read the lyrics.
I mean, yeah.
But
Amy
you don't do it. But
Amy will defend you behind you.
No, babe. No.
She's like, I
If
got
people
you.
want to actually have a conversation about it, my go-to explanation is just simply this. You know, and that's only if they want to have a conversation about it. You know, so I'm like, if you want to understand where I'm coming from, this is it. It is simply that if I take the song "Amazing Grace," universally accepted, wonderful, amazing, wonderful song, and if I play it on guitar, and is it a good song or is it a bad song? Is it a holy song? You know, we can all agree it's a good song. It's a holy song. It's good. And now, if I change all the lyrics to swear words and profanities and vulgar things, but I play the exact same music, the exact same guitar, nothing changes. Even the melody stays the same, but now I've put profanities. Would you say that it's still a good song?
Still a good song.
And they're like, of course not. Now, I said, now let's go back to the original thing. I'm just singing the original lyrics, the original melodies. I got the guitar, but this time I plugged the guitar into electricity.
It's electric. Yeah.
I was like, does that what I was like, so now I've introduced electricity into this song. Is the song now evil? And of course, the answer, you know, I'm like, that's what we're talking about.
No.
That's the only difference.
It is.
And
I just,
or you know, if you add drums, so say drums are a little off the table in Jesus' world, but I think Jesus was a carpenter, so he's probably a drummer.
He's probably a drummer.
He was probably a drummer. Yeah.
So, Kevin, I'm going to ask you then. So, growing up, you've been playing music for decades. Who were some of those musicians or people that you met that was impactful for you, or you remembered every moment of meeting them?
Yeah. Let's see. I got a coffee mug here of me singing or hugging, actually. John Schlitt is who that is. There's a lot of glare there.
Look at that.
Yep.
And there's me and him singing together.
Yeah.
Someone made that for me. They invited me on stage to sing with them. And somebody made that mug for me. So the band I have not mentioned yet, you know, Stryper was the first concert I ever saw. White Cross was the first album I ever received as a gift. But Petra was my favorite band. When I discovered Petra, it was over. I mean, it was over for me. That they were the best, no, not even close, my favorite band of all time. Then that's not to say that Stryper wasn't good. Stryper is like top shelf, 10 out of 10, you know, whatever. White Cross, 10 out of 10, incredible. You put those songs on, I'm singing every one. But I don't know, Petra like captured my soul and the heart of why they were singing what they were singing. It felt like a devotion. It felt like a church service. It felt like, you know, there was some evangelism happening, but also like I can walk with Jesus to these songs. That, you know, whatever I'm going through, there's a song for me on this album, you know, whatever it is. So I felt like that was, you know, really just they were my band, you know, hands down. They were my band.
Disciples like that for me.
Yeah.
When did you, Amy's like, ignore that. When did you first get to meet the guys in Petra? How old were you?
Um, I feel like it was a Germany show, and it was the early 2000s. Maybe they were on their Jekyll and Hyde album, which was like 05, 06, somewhere in there. And it could have been before, but so Germany's a great place to meet other artists because we're all just kind of stuck there, you know. If you're playing a festival or whatever, you know, everybody's kind of staying in the same hotel.
They have
and,
amazing festivals.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of eating food at the same pub, you know, that's right next to the, you know, hotel you're staying in or whatever. And yeah, that's that. I met him on the plane, or maybe in the at the gate waiting for our plane. And speaking of never forgetting, you know, the interaction or what have you, I was starstruck, and he obviously knew it. And John, if you've ever met John Schlitt, he's one of the nicest human beings ever, and really, really, really polite. Really smiles a lot, very, you know, inviting or whatever. And I've told him this story, and he's like, oh, you know, I'm so sorry. So I'm going to tell you something that he did that was, you know, kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. So he was super nice and super gracious and just whatever, you know. And this is my favorite band of all time, right? I mean, like, I know every song, I know every lyric. I mean, even like they would put Bible verses in their liner notes for the songs, and so we do that, you know. Like you would go to their shows. They had a guy giving an altar call at their shows. Very evangelistic. People are coming to Jesus. It is incredible, and so I was all about it. Anyway, so I meet him, and I'm telling him that, you know, he's heard this his whole life. You know, he's heard, you know, oh, you're my favorite band. He's heard it. So, you know, Disciple, he doesn't know who Disciple is, whatever.
He didn't know who you were?
I mean, I'm assuming. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
This is like 05.
Humble,
We're not,
okay.
you know, we're not like that big of a band in 05, in my opinion. And so, anyway, so we're getting on the plane. So the interaction is over. We're getting on the plane, and my guitar player, being nice and sweet, he didn't mean anything by it, but he kind of set me up for this moment. And we were all taking our seats, and John was getting ready to take his seat, and I was probably about 6 rows in front of him or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, Kevin, you want to sit by John?" And John goes, "No, I'm good, man. I don't want you to, you know, talk my head off like the whole flight." And I was like,
Oh no! You're like dead.
I was like, "What have you done, dude? I was getting ready to just take my seat. I was just getting ready to take my seat. And, you know, I didn't even want to sit beside him. Why did you say, you know, why did he was like, he was
it was
laughing.
a sweet gesture. Oh my.
He was laughing. He thought it was hilarious. He was like, "Oh my God, that's the best thing." His hero just said, "You're going to talk my head off. I don't want to sit next to." He's like, he thought it was, he literally, he lived for that kind of, you know, just funny, you know, whatever. And I was like, "You dog, you absolute dog." And so, okay, so fast forward, we've interacted so many times, and he obviously doesn't remember that. And and he's super sweet and super nice, and even like has, you know, like given me his phone number, you know, or, you know, like we'll you know, come on, hey, Kevin's here, come on stage and sing this song, you know, whatever. Oh, you know, next time, oh, Kevin, huge Petra fan, get up here, you know, whatever, sing the song, whatever. And then I told him, I go, "Hey, you remember this time?" He was like, "I did." I was like, he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm sorry." You know, whatever. You know, like, I'm like, no. You did the right thing. You know, you did the right thing, because I would have ruined your flight. Yeah, there's no two ways
Oh my
about
God,
it.
I love talking out. But then look at that picture on the mug of you guys hugging. That is so beautiful.
I know.
That is.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful human being. He's really, really a sweet human being. And that was just honestly, you know, that was my hero. Like, you know, being an example, he let me go so far. And then once, Once, you kind of cross that line with
Yeah.
somebody that,
It's just like,
he's just like, all right, that's as far as you get to go, no,
oh my
and that,
goodness.
and that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And
Oh
Okay,
my
so
gosh.
that's real
Okay.
life, right?
oh, go ahead, Em.
I am learning so much about background, and having been to numerous disciple shows, I'm like, okay, I see this. I see, I've never been to a Petra show. And
Mm.
so, and I've never seen White Cross. And
Huh.
so, one of the things that I go through is I'm like, you've never experienced disciple unless, I mean,
Mm.
you listen to CDs, you rock out, you almost get a speeding ticket because Bow Down is really loud and it's hard to drive the speed limit with that song, so
That's
you go
funny.
do all that, but you have never been to a disciple show. I mean, hands down, it is one of the most amazing things that I think people, no matter what you believe, need to experience, because it is incredible. The energy, the message, the energy and the music is just incredible, and you are surrounded by very talented people.
Well, Amy, I think
Um,
we have to go to a Petra show, and then you're going to have to compare it and
I
see if you still
know.
say. I'm just kidding. No, I know you'll
But
love it.
hearing this, Kevin, I'm like,
Huh.
okay. I'm like, all right. I see the influence and I see what you've carried
Yeah.
forward. And that's where I'm going. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I
I
get
think
it.
people that grew up around that type of youth group
Mm-hmm.
culture
Mm-hmm.
and that Christian contemporary culture that was part of the late 80s and early 90s, I think that there was a lot of artists that were kind of operating the same way. And there was an artist called Carmen, who was a solo
Yes.
artist, and he would do free events, free concerts, and pack out arenas. All right.
Yeah.
And it became kind of cool to crack on Carmen there for a little while,
Uh-huh.
like it is for every successful band like Creed or
Uh-huh.
um, the other one. I
Nickelback.
can't think of the Nickelback. Thank you. And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
cool to hate on them or whatever, which is the dumbest thing in the world, to hate on someone for being successful. But Carmen kind of got a lot of heat for that. But I mean, a lot of his songs were really youth groupy or a little campy or whatever. But bro was filling out arenas, you know. And when he would do that, he would clearly, concisely talk about the gospel of Jesus and, like a Billy Graham crusade, give people the opportunity to come
Yep.
down to the stage and accept Christ as their savior. These are the people that modeled
Uh-huh.
evangelism to me. And that's where these are the people, so if they did it wrong, then I'm doing it wrong. So, because that's the model that I watched, from White Cross and Petra and Carmen, these types of figures. And so, yeah, so when I started a Christian band, I didn't have any desire to do it any other way. It was definitely evangelism full speed ahead for
All the
me.
way.
It was not just about playing a song or selling a t-shirt or selling a CD or a cassette tape. It wasn't about it wasn't about those things. It was about those things and, trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
spread the gospel of Christ.
I have a funny Carmen story, and actually it involves, I think it's the same year. Okay, so 1997, I was very pregnant with my first son, second child. And you guys, I think that was the very first Spirit West Coast. And you guys were there way back, I think on a very back stage. And this was another, like, my husband's influence. He was like, we got to go see this band. Kev, you had the dreads. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh my word. I was so far pregnant that I don't remember much of it because it was so hot. And it was Laguna Seca. But Carmen was there that year. Do you
Wow.
remember if you went and saw
Mm.
his show? Because this is what happened. It was a huge thing. Let me just tell you. He gets ready to go on. Power at Laguna Seca goes out.
Hmm.
Out. Like total blew a fuse, something everywhere goes
During a
out
show
at
or
Laguna
before a
Seca.
show?
right before the show.
Right before.
And he gets on this bullhorn because the mics are out. He gets on this bullhorn and he says, "Someone's trying to stop this show tonight." And then the entire audience just goes, "Whoa!" You know, no one went. I'm getting goosebumps, right? And then as soon as he does that, and he says, "We're gonna, make some noise," or "We're gonna," he talks about just, how Jesus can't be stopped, and all of a sudden, poof, power goes back on.
Awesome.
I have goosebumps. It was the most like moment where you're like, oh
Yeah.
my word. It was like, to me, did you ever see the cartoon Angel Wars? Did you ever watch
No.
that cartoon? Oh my gosh, go Google it. It's phenomenal. I was like, this is the most Angel Wars moment I have ever experienced. Well, not really, but because I've had a few, but it was phenomenal. It was like
Top
you looked
10.
around and you went, what? It was
Yeah.
great. It was great. But that's Carmen, man. That was
Yeah. He's pretty
So
special.
Kevin, I have to also ask you, when fans come and meet you and you do meet and greets, before, after the shows, is there a certain song that you hear most often that like really speaks to people or change them, or it's just really impactful to them?
Dear X is the song that's probably our biggest song that has reached a lot of people. And I think that it, for whatever reason, lyrically, it kind of just casted. I don't know if that's the right past tense of cast. Cast a wide net, and it's a very special song, and I think for me the meaning behind it. Here's the thing: is I think the meaning behind it is different for everybody. For me, the meaning behind it is there's the Bible verse talks about anyone who sins is a slave of sin, but he who the Son sets free is free indeed. So right there, you see sin, you're now in a relationship with it. And there is a master and a slave. And if we are in sin, then we are the slave and sin is the master. So that's this relationship that we have with sin. And so I was thinking about, our relationships that we have in this world. Sometimes you just kind of have to, sometimes there's maybe some psycho ex, that are just kind of like, stalking you or whatever. And I thought about Cain in the Bible, who has murdered his brother, and for whatever reason, God is still speaking with him and communing with him, and which blows my mind. If you think you've sinned too much, that God doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Yeah, that goes against that, doesn't it? And God literally tells Cain, he says, sin is crouching at the door, but you must master it. And that picture had just, never left me. And I thought, that's sin. It's a psycho ex-girlfriend crouching at the door saying, whenever this Jesus thing doesn't work out, I'll be right here waiting on you. And we had this relationship, this master slave relationship. And so it was like, I wanted to write this song, dear shame, dear pain, dear hate, dear anger. I was yours, but I'm not yours anymore. You don't own me.
It's phenomenal. For anybody who hasn't heard it, we'll utilize it in some way, shape, or form, because it's got a birthday, right? It's got a pretty big birthday coming up.
They tell me it's been 15
20?
years. I guess it has 20.
I can't believe.
No, yeah, 15 years. Came out in 2010, 15. And when? I don't know. What month? I don't know.
Right.
I don't pay attention.
Right.
It's easy to find.
It's a huge
Yeah,
song.
Google's our friend sometimes until it takes over the world and kills us all. But for now,
AI,
it answers all of our questions.
Yeah.
When did Disciples album come out?
Amy,
I love
this was such a good time. And I have to say thank you to you for introducing me to Disciple and for Kevin. And this was fun. And next week's episode is going to be even just as good. Just as good.
Right.
It was a really good conversation.
Yeah, I loved this part, getting to know Kevin a little bit, his background, kind of where he comes from a little bit. Such a good time. I feel really clever right now just to build up my Goonies comment. Like, I thought that was pretty good.
It was.
Sorry. I'm not always
Well,
that
Abe,
witty, and when I am, I'm pretty proud of it.
you are. Okay, and I do have to say, Abe,
hmm
speaking of clever, there's some new
hmm
music coming out this week.
Oh my gosh, you guys. On Friday, Wild Society is releasing There Will Be Rock. For our Def Leppard fans out there, they know the saying. This song is about and dedicated to Rick Allen of Def Leppard. It's an amazing song. I can't wait. The lyric video, I think, comes out on Friday also. We'll make sure to link it, all of that, so you get a chance to see it. So excited for this song. I really hope you like it. Um, it's a really good one. It tells
I
the
can't
whole
wait.
story of perseverance and not giving up. So super excited.
I'm
Anyway,
looking forward to that.
I know, me too. You guys, it doesn't come out until Friday, so I won't be able to link the song in the description, but we'll be sharing it on our Instagram page for sure. So make sure you're following Rock the Life Girl on Instagram. And if you have any questions, a story to tell involving Disciple or Def Leppard, see, look at that. We linked the two favorites right in
Yeah.
there. Oh my gosh, we're so good. Okay, if you have any questions or stories to tell about either of those, send me an email at amy.rockthelife@outlook.com.
I
And you know
can't wait.
what? Yeah, you know what? Don't
Don't
forget,
forget,
rock the life.
rock the life.
I love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.